Welcome to Sean's Magic Cardboard. This particular video was supposed to be a vlog of my experience at the Lorcana Into the Inklands, the third Lorcana set pre-release event at Geek Retreat in Glasgow. Unfortunately, however, it didn't quite go to plan. I did go to the event, I did have a great time, I did get some nice cards. What didn't go to plan was the device that I was hoping to record this vlog on. My mobile would have been attached to a gimbal, which I couldn't really figure out, to be quite honest with you. I did my best to record some stuff on it, I guess, but not very much. So I think there's maybe about 3 or 4 clips now of just various bits and pieces. We're essentially meant to form this vlog, which isn't going to happen on its own. So instead of a standard vlog, which is obviously a recording of a series of events, in this instance I'm probably just going to give you my recollection of what actually happened and show you some of the cards that I did get. Before we do that though, I would like to draw your attention to some of the content I did film yesterday, using content incredibly loosely because I think it's an offence to anyone out there that is indeed a content creator. Let's have a look at this first clip. Okay, so that quite clearly is the ground. There is some sort of pedestrian barrier as well to obviously avoid people walking on a particular part of the ground. But nevertheless, that is a 1-second video of the ground you did just watch. Yeah, so this is what we're dealing with here. This is a particularly interesting set of pieces of content or pieces of video that were recorded yesterday. It does get better from there, marginally, may I add, but let's see what's next. So I've literally just spent the past 20 minutes trying to get this thing to work. I've actually managed to make it work. Unfortunately, I'm actually at the store, so this vlog of a day of going to a Lorcana tournament is actually just showing up at a Lorcana tournament. So the vlog starts here, unfortunately, but we move. We move indeed. So this was my second attempt at recording some sort of logical piece of content to sort of summarize the experience. In my head, this was going a completely different way. I envisaged what would be just a fantastic, picturesque scene of Glasgow, walking down a road which would essentially take me to the place that I'd be doing the card tournament. And it would be fantastic, you know, it would be hustle and bustle. And for whatever reason, when I envisaged this in my head, the audio was going to sound pristine and it would just look amazing. And don't get me wrong, I think the gimbal that I was using is actually a very good gimbal, if you know how to use it. The good news is, however, that from here on in it does get slightly better. So I was very fortunate that I asked one of the fellow players that day if they'd be okay just to record my pack openings to also form part of this vlog, and they agreed. They were quite happy with it. I'll probably just talk through these because the chances are I might have to blurp out the audio for copyright reasons, because there was music in the venue, just in case that gets picked up. So the idea of this event was you got 6 packets of cards, you had to make a deck of 40 cards. You could have any colour combinations. Normally in Lorcana you are restricted to 2 colours. In this event you can use as many colours as you want, use as many copies of any card as you want, so you can kind of go wild. The restrictions are really kind of taken off in this and you can, you know, work with what you've got basically, which is really cool. So in this I was very, very fortunate that in my 6 packets I kind of thought the 6 packets came from like the last 6 of a box, so I kind of, based on my box opening I did for the channel, after the 10th packet there was nothing really. There was 4 legendaries in the first 10 packets, and then after that there was absolutely nothing. So I kind of thought, oh great, end of a box, we ain't going to get anything here. I was completely wrong, however. Yeah, so I managed to get this legendary Kida, which was a pretty cool pull. I was really happy with that, actually. I didn't actually use it in an event, which I think was a misstep. I didn't think it had anything to shift into it, because it is a shift character, which means you can place it on top of a character that's already on the board. I didn't realise that I had a Kida in my deck, and as a result I didn't put it in. So that could have helped. This was actually the second legendary, the second of 2 legendaries that I get from this event, which was a Mickey Mouse, which was a legendary I already had from the box opening. But nevertheless, I was actually really happy with that. I think it's a really cool card. And yeah, to get 2 legendaries from 6 packs, I think is a pretty good return, to be honest. I think that's is a pretty good return, so I cannot complain about that whatsoever. In terms of kind of like my strategy, there wasn't really a strategy, to be perfectly honest with you, with this. I tried to ask a couple of people how they would kind of go about it, not in terms of like trying to figure out what cards they had, but just in terms of if they had any tips or tricks to what they were going for. Someone used locations, so they had locations is the new concept to this set, I should add. So they had about 10 locations, which was like the first time we kind of encountered those. So it was a nice warm up to see how they come across in the further sets. But it kind of worked for them, it kind of didn't. I think what they were hoping to do was just get some lore gain, which are the points in Lorcana, every single round. And in these matches, they were very fast. So I think there was one match in particular where I only had about 4 ink. And I was quite comfortable with that, to be honest, because I did try to make sure that a lot of the cards I was using had a low ink cost, which meant I could play more cards a lot quicker and just really try to flood the board, get as many cards out as I could, and then just kind of see what happens from there. So there's a couple of different strategies going on yesterday. And to be honest, I tried not to overthink it. I was just like, look, I'm just going to pick 40 cards here. I don't know an awful lot about this set. I'm just going to go in, see what happens, and hope for the best. And to be honest, it worked out pretty well. The first match that I played, I lost the first game, won the second game, lost the third game. All the games were pretty tight, to be honest. I don't think there was a whole lot in it. We're talking about one turn of a difference each turn, so I was quite happy. Second game, I won the first game, lost the second, won the third game, I think. So for the day, I beat 2 opponents, lost to 1. I think I came about 5th out of 9 or 8 or 9 competitors overall. So it was a very good day in the office. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a really nice set, lots of cool cards. This is where we are now. We have small amounts of content like this. And hey, it's better than nothing, I guess. But at the same time, it's not really how I envisaged this video going. Nevertheless, we do have a bunch of stuff here. This is kind of like my haul, basically, from yesterday. I'll just kind of talk you through the cards that I used, the cards that I got, and also how I kind of went about the deck, if you want to call it a deck. So this is the deck, if you will. These are the promo cards, so these aren't actually from this set. These two are from previous sets. I was very fortunate in that I won a raffle. One of the guys pointed out is that I'd been selected for the raffle at the end of the last set. So I got a couple of promo cards yesterday, and I also got a little counter as well, or a little pin badge, should I say, from the previous sets as well, which is a green one, which is really cool. So these Lorcana pins are kind of given out. Depends on where you rank and stuff like that. So I was very fortunate to get a hold of one of those. So that's just, it's a nice little thing, and I'm really thankful for that. So this was the promo from yesterday, the Jolly Roger. So this is one of 4 promos available over the course of Into the Inklands. This is a super rare card that I got from the set. I've got this out because I was actually thinking about potentially using that in a deck for future. And finally, this is the deck itself. You need at least 40 cards, so you get 12 cards in the packet, you get 6 packets, so that's what, 72 cards. So you need to use more than half your cards, basically. There is a limited manoeuvrement of what you can do. You'll need to take some out. I ended up at about 54 or something like that. I don't mind going a little bit over for a couple of reasons. I just kind of thought, look, just stick. I put every single card that had a 1 value in it. I put every card that had a 2 value in it. People refer to it as a curve. I don't actually know what that means, but for me, I just wanted a lot of low cost characters in hope that I could get them out early, put a bit of pressure on the board, and just kind of take it from there. And for the most part, it worked. I think it worked at a lot of the games, and even the games that I did lose, or the one opponent I lost to, I think the first couple of games I managed to get up to 11 lower in a couple of turns, which was really nice. I just kind of ran out of steam, and after he was able to kind of like clear up the board a little bit, there wasn't an awful lot left for me to do. I didn't have many resources left, so I just ran out of steam, but I gave it a good shot, and I enjoyed it, so it was good fun. So having a quick breakdown of the deck now, I'll kind of talk you through what we've got going on. These were 2 legendary cards that in the footage that I do have, you can see me getting a hold of. So it's the Kida legendary, which I was really happy with, and also a Mickey Mouse trumpeter as well. As well as playing Lorcana, I also like to collect, so my aim is always from each set that comes out at the moment is to try to get at least one of each card, barring the enchanteds, because the sort of prices on those can be quite expensive, so I'm not too concerned about those at the moment. With this particular set, there's 18 enchanted cards. Another reason why I'm not too concerned with them at the moment. If I pick 1 or 2 up, that's fantastic. If not, so be it. I'm more sort of focused on the main cards of the set. So I've kind of tried to look through the deck here, and this sort of compilation of cards that we've got on the table, these are the sort of main cards that I felt that in my deck actually made some sort of difference. So I'll just quickly talk through each of them. So first off, we have a Dawn Carnage, which I was calling it Carnage all of yesterday. I really don't know why. Prince of the Pirates. It's an evasive character. It can quest for 2, 4/4, and cost 5, also inkable. This worked quite well for me, mostly because of the evasiveness, the fact that you could get 2 lore off it, and it's also got 4 attack and 4 defense. I tried not to hold too many characters with a higher ink cost, 5 or 6, like I mentioned before. So this is one of only a couple, really, of this sort of cost to put in there. And for what it's worth, when I did get up to that point in games, it did kind of pay off. It was worth it. So I'm glad I included this one. This one was very useful and put a lot of pressure on opponents, especially when you could quest with it. You'll get 4 lore just from 1 quest with this card. Again, cost 6, so this was, again, one of the higher ink costing cards that I'd had in there. But it paid off, and it worked. I think I used it most games. Whenever I did play it, most of my opponents said the same catchphrase, which I probably will not repeat here. Next up, we have Cloud Kicker. This one is a 2 attack, 2 defense, 3 cost ink, quest for 1, and this effect is what came in really handy yesterday. When you play this character, you can return a chosen opposing character with 2 or less attack to that player's hand. And this is really just to kind of set your opponent back a notch, wasting their ink basically for the sake of a turn, and just giving yourself a little bit of an advantage on the board. So again, yesterday, really happy with just trying to slow down the opponent, control the sort of pace of the match more than anything else. And I think it did that, so it really did help yesterday. This one was great. I absolutely loved this one. I managed to get a bodyguard on it at one point as well, which was brilliant. My opponent wasn't too happy about that. Cursed Merfolk. Whenever this character is challenged, each opponent chooses and discards a card. So first off, you can't ink it. It does cost 1 ink, which isn't a big drawback, I would say. It doesn't attack. In an event like yesterday, your opponent didn't have much of an option really to get rid of anything without challenging. So opponents had to challenge it, which would kind of take a card out of their hands. If not, you gain 2 lore. So it was a really good card. And I would love to have had a couple more of those yesterday because I think it would have been really, really helpful. Next up, we have an Ursula card, which is a really nice card actually, and I feel like, especially in the Emerald decks, this will potentially work quite well going forward. It costs 2 ink to play, 1 attack, 3 defense. When you play this character, a chosen opponent reveals their hand and you can discard a song of their choice. From my perspective, as someone that plays with Ruby and Amethyst, you're getting rid of Be Prepared, you're getting rid of your draw supports. Lots of hand disruption here. So this one can, if you're playing it and then taking it back and then playing it and taking it back, it can cause a lot of disruption. So I think that's a pretty cool card. Next up, we have Strike a Good Match. This was a card that is draw support. It costs 2 to play, but you can draw 2 cards and then you have to discard 1 card. So it gives you a card advantage for the cost of 2 ink. And again, a small event like yesterday where really limited support, the sort of staples or cards that you would normally use in day-to-day play aren't there, so something like this gives you a small advantage. In my eyes, it was worth it, and again, I used it quite a lot and enjoyed using it too, so I like that. So this one caught a few people off by surprise. First of all, Rise of the Titans, banish chosen location or item. So particularly when I was playing against the locations deck, this came in so handy. Banish chosen location or item. Does what it says in the tin, right? You banish your location, opponent's not happy about that, I certainly am. Jafar, this is probably the one that I'll maybe use coming up. When you play this character, the top 2 cards of the deck, put 1 top of your deck, 1 in the bottom, and also shifts into the bigger Jafar. How far I'll go? Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in your hand, the other in your inkwell. So again, a little bit of an ink advantage there, just getting a lot ahead of the game. Remove 3 damage and draw a card. What I didn't realise is you could use this without actually removing any damage, or at least opponents kept doing it, and I wish that I tried to do it as well. There's also a little bit of dirt on here, and I'm going to do my best to get it off, and I have, so that's great. Finally, a Maui card, which I played incorrectly a few times, but I started to get used to it, and for 5 attack, it clears up some stuff for the cost of 3 ink. So that's a very brief run for you of the event yesterday. I did have a great time, and if you're considering maybe going to a Lorcana event, locals or something like that, I couldn't highly recommend it enough. Be sure to check out your local events. I do think that you meet some great people there, and it's just great to hang out with people of similar interest and be able to talk about trading cards and play some games on Lorcana. This is not exactly how I expected this vlog to go, nevertheless, We work with what we got. I think it's just part of being a creator, which I don't consider myself yet, but hopefully one day we'll get there, is trying to create stuff. And right now I am trying to create something out of nothing because there's not much material from the vlog day, and I'm now sitting here trying to explain it to you. So it is what it is. We are where we are. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, I have no idea why, but thank you. And yeah, hopefully I'll be back here with more Lorcana content soon. This has been Sean's Magic Cardboard. See you next time.